Hello everyone, here we have a quick video review of the Scurfa Dival 1 wristwatch. It's quite a new watch company set up by a guy called Paul Scarefield, a diver himself up in the North Sea. This company was born out of a necessity to produce a cheap, reliable dive watch with some good features. That's how I'm going to review it actually. I consider this pure and simply a tool watch, not a fashion watch at all, built for a purpose, not to go to the pub in on a Friday night. The specs on this watch, quite typical of a dive watch of this day and age. It's 42mm across that way, not including the crown and crown guards. 51mm lug to lug, 13.5mm depth that way, and the lug width from there to there 22mm, so very popular for lots of watch bands, straps, bracelets even. It has a quartz movement, which is a Ronda 515, it might say there, Swiss movement. Yeah, it's got a Ronda 515 calibre, pretty standard fare for a diver at this price point. And to be honest, at this price, at about £115 brand new retail, there's some pretty serious competition for a cheap, reliable dive watch or actual tool watch. There's a few I'll just mention very quickly, I'll just put that there. First one we'll come to is, say, Casio G-Shock, generally 200 metre water resistance, quite a rough finish, doesn't matter if it gets damaged or anything. Basically you could go diving with this. It's an analogue watch, that's why I chose this one, you know, very similar. Just look at the price, you know, absolutely for nothing, £45. That's one choice. That's one in particular. The other watch I was going to mention, the Vostok Amphibia. Now, these very cheap, good watch. Hold on, let me try and sort this out. Vostok Amphibia. Now they're very cheap as well. You pick those up for probably a lot less than £115, somewhere around, anywhere between about £50 and £75. Now they've got, I think, 200 metre water resistance, more relevant maybe than the G-Shock because it's a steel body, divers rotating bezel, the usual things. Then you may go on to Orient. Orient makes some nice watches. Let me just try and get rid of this. I've ended up with let's have a look. Images. Orient come out with something like that. Probably a lot more relevant. Really nice watch. Quite tough. Good water resistance, really good quality watch, completely in its own right. And then the lucky last, which I would say is more comparable with anything, and its biggest competition, is the seiko skx007, legendary watch. 200 metre water resistance, in-house mechanical movement, fantastic loom. Really got a good cult following. That really could do with a review in its own right. There's plenty out there. Really good watch, and probably its biggest competition. Okay, we'll get back to the Diver 1. I'm going to point out the not so good things about this watch first, because I think there's very minimal, few nitpicking faults. Not really that bad at all for this price point. So first gripe, or first thing I don't like, is the silicone strap. It's functional, but it's cheap, you know, real nasty. Twin keepers there, but it's an absolute lint magnet. It doesn't feel very well. It's brushed stainless steel buckle there, and some texture there to try and get rid of the sweat. It's just cheap and nasty. The other thing is, which people probably won't like, is the Ronda 515 quartz movement. It is a Swiss movement, but it is really cheap, you know, £5 to buy the movement, so that probably kills it a little bit. And obviously not sought after. People, you know, purists do prefer the quartz movement rather than the mechanical. Another gripe, the little red ring there on the winding crown, although it hasn't come off for me when I'm winding it up, when I'm changing the time, it's not the best of fit. If you like it, leave it on. If it falls off, it's no great loss really. The last gripe, and it is a really, I'm griping over nothing here, is the AR, the anti-reflective coat. I don't know whether you can see it just there. It's got a blue tinge to it. I'm going to say it looks a cheap blue tinge compared to other anti-reflective coatings you may get on other watches. But what a gripe, you know, it's actually got anti-reflective coating at this price, really, really good. So I can't, you know, it's a gripe that we shouldn't really be making because we've got that at this price point. A decent positive click. They get on about backlash. I've seen a few reviews say backlash. It kind of has and it hasn't. I think what they're commenting on is this. So you put it to there, you can move it, but it clicks into position and it won't go back. So as far as I'm concerned, hasn't really got any backlash. Just got a little bit of play while you're adjusting the bezel. Okay, so I'll go on to the good points, which far outweigh the bad points at this price range. Right, the bezel. The insert is ceramic, and we all know Rolex, Omega have just started doing this. It's quite a nice feature, quite a posh feature, lovely and shiny. And even the markers on the bezel, the 50, the lone pearl, all these markers are actually luminous. You know, even the bezel's luminous, which is great. Okay, the next good point, sapphire crystal lens. I pointed out it's got an AR coating, anti-reflective coating, but it's got a sapphire crystal lens. The watch has also got a depth rating of 300 metres. Let's just have a look. I might tell you on there. 300 metres is there. 316L stainless steel, sapphire crystal, Swiss movement. Sapphire crystal, AR coating, depth rating of 300 metres, which is more water resistance than any mere mortal will need, or at least me anyway. Lastly, the real good point is the dial. Lovely, like I've said before, nice looking watch, amazing lume, really outstanding lume, as good as any Seiko or Omega or Rolex for that matter, really outstanding lume. The dial, as I've said, the dial's got fantastic lume, big triangle, nice feature. Applied markers, which is quite good for a watch at this point. Not many watches, especially for a tour watch, has that. Really nice. In fact, outstanding watch for the money at all points. The two watches which I do think it closely emulates. Number one is the skx007. I think it's, you know, obviously black dial, bezel, and the red writing, although that's got round dots. That's got the rectangular markers. I do think it has a passing resemblance to that, but probably more than anything, I would say it's very, very similar to the Omega Seamaster 300, the 2254, or this one, which is the quartz version, 2264. Very similar looking watches. Aluminium bezel, can get marked. Ceramic bezel, quite tough. You notice this hasn't got the applied markers, it's just loom. Although you can get some of these with the applied markers. I would say out of all the watches, these are very, very similar. Hands are different, but the dial's very, very close. So, in conclusion, about this watch, £115, an absolute steal. Go on eBay, spend about £25–30 for maybe an aftermarket bracelet, or even a nice NATO, you know, splurge on a quality NATO or Zulu strap, and it would finish the watch off. As I said, probably my only gripe with this thing is the silicone strap. Horrendous, it's horrible. Really lets down what is a really good watch, and obviously a proper tool watch. Please leave me a comment, subscribe, send me any messages, let me know what you think. And my next video will be on the beaters I've had over the years. For the last nearly 20 years I'll produce 3 of the watches I've used as beaters, my current one plus the other 2 I've used in the past. Right, thanks for watching. See you later.